Look, if you're over 50, stop making excuses for what you can't do and start making excuses for what if you don't do it, what are the consequences? And what I'm really speaking to more specifically is your health and fitness level as we age. We can't let the world define and tell us what being 50 or 50 plus is like. You have to live it on your terms and do it your way. Be intentional about what you're wanting to do. I have people that I run into all the time, men and women over 50, and we'll naturally in conversations, things will come up about what do you do for a living, all those kind of things. And then, there'll be, the health will come up at some point in those conversations. Though most people, when you get older, you start talking about, oh, my knees are, yeah, I'm doing good until I had this surgery, or oh, I've been doing good, and I had, I just not feeling good lately, and my joints hurt, and all this kind of stuff. So naturally, those conversations come up as we age. It's kind of funny how that is. I mean, as a kid, you'd hear your parents and your aunts and uncles that were older have those conversations like, God, I'll never do that. My God, many of our conversations start, if not very soon, the second or third topics about what's going wrong with our body. But my point is that you can reverse that. You can stop that. You can have a very healthy and vital body even past 50. The problem is that we have allowed ourselves to be programmed by what the world has said or has told us that we should be at a certain age. And it's wrong. It's false. You have to live your life on your terms. Life is not a bunch of beautiful edits and a final product, so to speak. Life is gaffes and mistakes, and we are living our life imperfectly perfect. If you look up the term kintsugi, I hope I said that right. It's the Japanese art of joinery. And what it is, in a nutshell, is when a piece of porcelain or a vase or something like that breaks, they join it back together with gold and put lacquer over it. And it's beautiful. And so what the lesson is there is that your scars are not signs of being broken. Your scars and those things in the past are a sign that you are healed and that you are stronger. People will come up and say, man, I wish I could look like you, or I wish I could be fit like you. It's great that you're getting started earlier. And then we get deeper into the conversation. They ask me how old I am, and I tell them, well, I'm 52. How old are you? And they'll say, I'm 54. And they're surprised by that. And they say, well, I've been in this body. I've gotten myself in this shape, and it's just taken me a long time to get here. It's going to take me forever to get out of it. And I tell them, how long have you been living in that body? You mentioned time. How long have you been this way? What you're not happy with? And they'll say, 25 years. I said, well, it's taking you 25 years to get here. It will not take you 25 years to get out, but you have to start. You have to start somewhere. You have to start moving the body. You have to start eating right. You have to start putting down some of the bad habits, smoking, drinking, whatever that may be. But I'm here to tell you is that do one at a time. What I think stops a lot of people is that they will think about wanting to make a change and they go, God, I've got to make so many changes. And what I always try to tell people is like, just pick one. Pick one thing that's going to get you closer to the excellence that you want to be and how you want to feel. So what if it's something that you're eating? Okay, let's change that. Let's sit in that pocket for a little bit and see how that feels. All right. I need to move the body more. All right. Let's start walking. Let's start doing some calisthenics type works, body weight, squats and jumping jacks and things like that. Look, at 48, I put down the weights and I no longer touch weights. All I do is resistance bands, calisthenics, body weight work because it's about longevity in my joints. It's functional. And so, you introduce some things that are a little bit different and you start today with one thing. But I think what is amazing that happens is that when people intentionally have intentionality behind what they're doing and they start moving the body, maybe it's the one thing that they pick, they then they start doing it a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in, and they start just naturally making other good habits. Because as we know, those chemical releases that happen in the brain when we move the body happen. And then you start reprogramming your central nervous system. You start reprogramming things in your mind, and your body starts seeking those things that you're improving because it rewards you. It's like, oh my gosh, on the cellular level, the cells are communicating with each other and say, hey, I like what he's doing. They start sending these signals to the rest of the cells and to start to motivate you to do other things um, that are beneficial to you. Don't let people determine or tell you what 50 is like. You get to determine that. Don't live on their terms. This is your life. Don't make excuses. Don't let other people tell you where you need to be at any specific time. It's up to you. Nobody gets to define and tell you when the end is, when you're supposed to be somewhere at a certain time. You get to determine that. It's your life that you're navigating. As long as you're navigating the world as a good citizen, you're leaving kindness behind and care and compassion and grace, then you do you. You've earned it. If you haven't figured out by now at 50 that you've earned to be unapologetically you and not care about what other people think, man, get on board. It is an amazing, liberating feeling to just navigate the world being you and not caring about what other people think about how you do you. Look, and also you start a habit. Let's say you say, hey, I'm going to go 3 days a week and move my body. Make each time you do that an improvement over the last. So let's say Monday you go and you can only go, let's say you join a gym and you can only go a half a mile on the treadmill. Guess what? Wednesday, go 3/4 of a mile or go just a little bit more than half a mile. Or maybe you say, hey, okay, I'm going to start moving the body. I'm going to do it at home. I'm going to start with jumping jacks. Man, I can only get 10. Wednesday, get 11. Friday, get 12. Nobody gets to tell you when you're supposed to be somewhere and the progression you're supposed to be at. You get to determine that. Also, don't have a specific goal as far as how you want to look. It should be about how you feel. Oh, I want a six pack. That's the wrong motivation. It should be how you feel. If you're doing those things that make you feel better, you're doing positive things that make yourself feel better, those other benefits will naturally follow. Focus on being happy. When you talk to most people, or they've done studies, when they ask people when it's toward the end, or they know it's toward the end, or they're on that proverbial deathbed, one of the most common things people say is that they regret that they weren't happier. And part of that has to do with just living life on your terms and being who you want to be and not worrying about what other people think about. Here's the thing. Isn't it funny that as humans, we will extend grace to other people more freely than we do our own selves? Like, give yourself grace. So let's say you decide you're going to move your body 3 days a week. And here's what I will tell you. If it's not something that you love, you have to schedule it. You have to put it in your schedule, just like you would any other important meeting. And with the exception of an emergency, you don't let anything interfere with that, because you will if you don't schedule it. And you don't have to tell people what it's for. You don't have to tell people what it's for. You just say, hey, I've got a meeting Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. That's 30 minutes an hour, whatever you set for yourself. You do it. You do it. You don't let anything interfere with that. You put it in your schedule, and it's a standing appointment that you have with yourself. You deserve to hold that time for yourself on those days that you pick. Because if not, you'll let something take its place. But if you have an emergency, something happens, you get sick, something happens, give yourself grace. Hey, I wasn't able to go today. I know I missed my scheduled time that I have on my calendar. Guess what? Friday, you get to do it again and start over. But give yourself grace. And know it's okay. But be very intentional. Like when you go, be very intentional. Don't just show up and go through the motions. You will have days like that. Again, give yourself grace, but have intentionality when you go. Hey, today I'm going to try to accomplish X. I'm going to try to be a little bit better than I was the day before. And you're thinking about it each time. I do this to this day, and I've been exercising and nutrition since my 20s. Let's say I'm doing biceps. With each bicep movement, I'm like, I'm getting stronger. Oh, that feels good. Oh, I'm thinking about my biceps. I'm thinking about some positive thing, the reason why I'm there when I'm doing that movement. Because it's a muscle-mind connection that happens. But more importantly, is just move your body. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to live a vital, independent life as long as you possibly can. And you will set an example for other people. That's not the goal of this, but other people will watch you and will be seeing what you're doing. I had a guy come up to me a couple of weeks ago at the gym. He goes, man, he said, I watch you move. I'm in here every morning with you. I see you. And he said, just when I think I'm done and I want to stop and I'm too tired, I look over at you and you're killing it. And he said, I know you're older than me. He said, I know you're old. I hope by one day when I get old like you, can you imagine? When I get old like you, I look like you and I feel like you and I have that motivation. The kid was 19. 19. And he said that to me. It was amazing. It felt great, obviously. But you never know. And the thing is, too, you'll have this ripple effect with other people in your life. Those people that will doubt you at first and that will say, why are you doing that? Why are you doing it? They'll start asking you, how do you do that? They'll go from why to how. It's amazing. You just watch. But don't worry about them or waiting for that question to come. You just do you and you show up. You show up every day. You owe it to yourself. You deserve to be healthy. You deserve to feel great. You deserve that for yourself. If it's for nobody else, do it for yourself. You deserve it. I'm here to support that. Drop a comment and tell me how I can help you. I give free fitness advice all the time. Like I mentioned a moment ago, I've been a nutritionist and fitness trainer since my 20s. I'm 52 now. I've said it earlier. I give free advice all the time with no expectation of anything. Move your body. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself. Please, please do it. I want to see all my brothers and sisters and cousins and all of us that are over 50 looking and feeling vital and redefining what 50 is like. Redefining what it's supposed to be like. I have two kids, 21 and 16, and I'm showing them this is what's possible. This is what's possible. Please make those changes. One thing though, just one thing at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. A little change in your diet. Start moving the body a little bit more. Be very consistent. Consistency is key. It's so key. Hold yourself accountable. Put it on your calendar. That's the only way you're going to do it, particularly if you don't. I love doing it. I don't have to schedule it. It's something I enjoy. It's a mental clarity thing for me. I love moving my body. I love fitness. I love taking care of myself. I love the whole thing. I love the culture at the gym. I love going to the park and seeing other people doing what I'm doing, trying to better themselves. I love it. So I don't have to schedule it. It's just something I know that I'm going to do. But if it's hard for you and it's a challenge, put it on your calendar. Please put it on your calendar so that it's intentional and you don't miss it. And here's what I would tell you. A trick that I tell many of my clients is make sure you have your fitness clothes laying out however you get ready in the morning. Right there, so when you first get up, you hit your alarm, your feet hit the floor, that's the first thing you see, your fitness clothes and your shoes. And even if you don't feel like you want to go brush your teeth, do whatever you need to do, and just put on your clothes, put on your gym clothes, put on your exercise clothes. Just do it. Many times the first step to getting you to do it is those reps of just putting the gym clothes on, lacing up the shoes. And then let's say you still don't feel like it. You're like, well, I've done this. And you join a gym. Let's say that's going to be your thing. You join a gym. Go to the gym. Sit in the parking lot. Say, well, I'm just going to go. I'm going to go. At least I know I put the clothes on. I had every intention. I drove and I sat in the parking lot. All right. That's one step. And what if you left and went back home? You still started creating a good habit. But what happens is you'll show up and be like, I'll go ahead and do a little bit. And you'll find yourself doing something. But don't be, again, give yourself grace. Give yourself grace, but be very intentional about what you're doing. Please, my brothers and sisters over 50, take care of yourself. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to the world. Because guess what? We have some wisdom and life advice that people need. You might not think you have a story and something that's important to this world. Trust me, you are enough. And what you have, one thing you could say can make a major impact on one person. You have something to offer to the world. I promise you. I promise you, you do. Live healthy and vital and strong. I'm here for you. I'm here to support you. Do it. Start today. Love you guys. Peace.